TC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. Over on total for the daily, we did hit our Fibonacci level and we got rejection. So we'll have to see how that played out. It could be a little cautionary for us because this could try to set up a lower high, which if followed by a lower low, could try to break us even lower. But momentum does have a double red dot. VWAP is breaking down. Money flow is in the green. But if that VWAP continues to break down, our money flow will break into the red, showing people are selling more than they're buying. But over on the 1 hour, we're kind of just zigzagging around, so we're having some trouble leaving this support resistance area. We really want to see it leave this area and continue forward from here. We do have a potential higher low, so if we can follow this with a higher high and break that Fibonacci level, then we could continue forward. But if we get a lower high here, then I would watch out and watch for bearish momentum. There's a higher probability of breaking forward, but remember, you want to watch things and take caution. That VWAP is starting to roll over, so that does have me a little worried, because if that VWAP breaks down here, we will see bears gain control. That gain of control would give us a lower high, which would bring momentum back, and that would cause money flow to sell off, which could start to weaken those daily time frames. Over on total or Bitcoin dominance for the I can't get the right words out. Looking at everything but futures. So Bitcoin futures for the daily, we tried to push down, tried to push up. We're pretty flat overall. Really, we're going to want to watch those lower time frames, but this flat price action may mean we may see that drop. Again, if we do drop to fill this gap somewhere between this 93K and right around that 91.7, then we could still see a higher low and then still continue up toward that 103K range. Just because of a pullback, I wouldn't exercise too much caution. Actually, this green after green after green has me a little more worried than if we were to see a couple red candles here. Momentum does want to round. VWAP is starting to pull back, so stochastic is starting to drop, and the money flow is in the red. So I would watch this 1 hour. The 1 hour, our VWAP is breaking back into bullish territory here on futures. But again, watch Bitcoin, because when the week starts, usually they do mismatch a little bit. Momentum does want to push forward. Money flow is in the green, so watch that VWAP. If it can stay bullish, then we can continue forward from here. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we did try to break that support level, but we managed to bounce back. So that is positive, but we are still struggling to break free of this range and pump forward. And momentum is starting to round away. VWAP is continuing to lose strength despite our push up, so watch lower time frames. We need that VWAP to reverse and maintain a bullish push. Momentum is starting to pull back due to the VWAP weakening, which will cause money flow to weaken as well if we're not careful. Over on the 1 hour, it does look like we have a higher low. So again, watch for a continued higher high and us to pump forward. There was a 37% chance of rejecting this range right around that 94K and continuing down though. So just exercise caution, because if we break below this support level of that 93.9, then I would exercise caution and watch for a bearish push. That VWAP is also starting to get a little weak, so we need that VWAP to bounce off the neutral here and continue in bullish territory. Otherwise, if that VWAP breaks down here, momentum will likely reject, bringing money flow lower and causing price to continue lower from here, which would reject that 100K scenario. Now, over on graph for the daily, we have indecision here as well. Stochastic is starting to pull back with a double red dot on the momentum, so watch that VWAP close. As that VWAP continues to drop, momentum will continue to drop lower, especially with that double red dot signaling that does want to continue down. Our money flow is also rejecting that neutral, showing that we tried to get some bullish people buying, but overall the bears are starting to step in again. Over on the 1 hour, we do have, I would say this could be a potential double bottom, but with us starting to curl away here, I would just exercise caution, because that may start to decrease the odds of a double bottom happening, and there was a 50% chance of rejecting where we saw this round here on the last couple hours. Stochastic does want to round as well. VWAP has a shorter high and it's starting to pull back, so if that VWAP breaks through the bearish territory, I would watch for that momentum to continue lower, keeping money flow in the red, and then a continuation downwards. Abolisher asks, can we have an alt season if Bitcoin dominance stays up? I don't think that's really typically going to happen. Usually dominance breaking down does kind of create that catalyst for our altcoins to push up, because when dominance is weakening, that's showing that people are holding less Bitcoin than they are in altcoins, and usually the money is moving from Bitcoin to Ethereum and then to your other altcoins. Sometimes it'll go from like industry to industry, and then usually it cycles back up to Bitcoin. Now, that is historically, and that does not account for ETFs. So there may be a possibility where, due to ETFs, dominance could be a little higher than usual. Then we would see a kind of break than we did in the past, because in the past we did not have those ETFs, and the people buying ETFs really don't want to swap around their crypto much. That's why they have the ETFs, because they don't want to deal with all the custody things. So we kind of have a couple things going on here. I'd say if the money doesn't move out of ETFs, then it could be probable that dominance may stay a little higher than usual, but I would like to see this dominance start to break away. We'll hop over to dominance real quick since we're done with graph. It does look pretty similar to total, just to recap, but our dominance, I would say, if we look over at the weekly, I believe is like 21. I forget the exact date, but we can look. So we had this spike back here, and then we saw dominance crash down to about 40%. Now, what we're probably going to look for is maybe we run up to our new highs somewhere around our 70%, and then maybe we pull back to only 50, 60%. That could be a scenario we may see. So dominance would still end up crashing out while total would push up, but dominance would overall stay higher than historically. So that's kind of what I'm thinking we may see happen due to those ETFs. So hope I answered your question good for you, Abolisher. Thank you for joining, by the way. Hope you're having a great day. But over on XRP for the daily, we are pumping up toward that Fibonacci band. So we are seeing that push up toward that 230 that we said to watch for the last couple days. Momentum is pushing up. VWAP is running up. Money flow does want to break into the green. And Stochastic and RSI do have a decent bullish push. But remember, they are a little overextended, so they're not going to stay like that forever. Now, over on the 1 hour, our VWAP is in bullish territory. Momentum is pushing forward. That money flow is strong in the green, so we do look pretty positive, and this could be a higher low compared to back here. I would just warn against a rising channel. Remember, rising channels where you get highs and lows that connect that do create a bearish push in the long run. Now, this high is just shy of connecting, so I'm not going to make a rising channel here, but just remember, a rising channel would typically bring you down. At least it has a higher probability. Our VWAP is in the bullish territory, so that is positive, but it's showing signs of rounding. So I would just keep an eye on it, because there was about a 50% chance of us rejecting here as well, just like most of our other altcoins. So right now, the market does look a little shaken. We do have some geopolitical things that we dropped in chat just a little while ago in our Discord that likely are trying to keep us afloat, but we have some other things that are kind of counteracting that, because the ceasefire is pretty much didn't go through the way it was supposed to. At least that's the accusation. And the other side is saying they may do a ceasefire later, which is a question of why are we waiting? But back to the TA. Over on the daily for Anchor, momentum is starting to round with a double red dot. VWAP is starting to break down, so I would watch, as that will bring momentum lower, and with that double red dot, that does signal momentum wants to continue to drop, which would continue to weaken money flow and bring us lower. So I would watch us retest. We may end up invalidating, and that's why you watch for confirmations. You don't just trade just because a pattern happened. Now, with that being said, we also have a gap to the upside right around this 2102. So now that we're trying to consolidate and get higher highs with higher lows here, if we can push and hold above this 20-cent area, then we could push up, fill that gap, and then still try to continue up for our pattern. But just exercise caution. If we reject this resistance a few more times, I'm thinking we would likely see more bearish momentum. But again, remember, if total pushes up, most of our altcoins are going to follow. Our stochastic is starting to round, RSI is starting to pull back, VWAP is starting to pull back, and momentum is rounding. So with that shorter VWAP, I would watch out, because momentum is getting shorter as well, which would cause money flow to start to weaken if we do not see that VWAP make a bounce or a very short low and then continue a bullish trend from here. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe, and join us in that Discord.